3 bone-chilling facts about the Scissor Man that haunt you forever. In the heart of a small, unsuspecting town, whispers of a figure known only as the Scissor Man sent chills up spines and dread into the night. It was said that this eerie silhouette with a twisted grin wielded sharp, glistening scissors that gleamed like wicked stars under the moonlight. Children dared each other to venture past the old mill where shadows danced ominously, but no one ever returned unchanged. They spoke of the night they heard the metallic clink of those scissors slicing through the stillness, each snip echoing like a countdown, one heart-stopping moment after another. But here's where things get beyond strange. The first bizarre detail? Folks claim that the Scissor Man never snipped just anything. No, his choice was deliberate, the hair of the brave who dared to taunt him. And perhaps that's why a strange, frizzy-haired girl named Lily, with fiery determination, challenged the legend. As she approached the old mill on a dare, the air turned thick and electric. She could feel a tightness in her chest, as if the weight of countless eyes sank in with her. With every daring step, the whispers swelled. Town folks gazed with wide eyes, their breaths hitching. What would happen next? The tension escalated even further when Lily opened the creaking door of the mill, which screeched like a banshee, and through the slits of the drawn curtains, a figure emerged. Those unmistakable scissors caught the dim light, slicing the shadows into thin strips of fear. Heart racing, Lily stood rooted to the spot, with a lump in her throat, frozen just as the legends had foretold. But was she really just going to stand there? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Just as the scissors glittered menacingly, another tremor rippled through the building, and Lily stumbled back. In that moment, the Scissor Man's eyes caught the flicker of her bravery, or was it foolishness? The townsfolk outside drew closer, jaws slack, murmuring fragments of long-forgotten tales and grim warnings. Each cold breeze felt like a foreboding omen. What would happen when those scissors finally snapped? Did Lily just poke a hornet's nest? Or could she be the one to unravel the mystery that had haunted so many? The air thickened again as the Scissor Man raised his hand, and a whisper echoed between them, something no one had ever dared to uncover. What truth lay hidden in the snip of those deadly scissors? Lily's breath hung in the chilled air, a ghost in the face of the living nightmare before her. Every instinct screamed at her to turn away, to flee, but a deeper urge rooted her to the spot. The Scissor Man's smile widened, a grotesque stretch that seemed to mock her resolve. As the sharp blades gleamed ominously, time twisted, each second slithered by like molasses. "Why have you come, child?" His voice was a guttural rasp, filled with an unsettling mix of curiosity and menace. Behind him, shadows flickered across the wall, moving like trapped souls begging for release. She swallowed hard, the lump in her throat now a mountain. I wanted to see if you were real," she managed, her voice a thread above silence. It wasn't a brave admission. It was a desperate grasp at control. The townsfolk outside were a grim audience now, their faces pale and twisted by fear, but Lily hardly noticed. Inside the mill, it was just her and the Scissor Man, as if the world had closed in around them, wrapping them in a cocoon of impending doom. "You wanted to prove the stories wrong?" he taunted, his scissors clicking lightly as he snipped the air. "You think you're brave, but bravery has its price." The air felt electric, charged by danger and truth. Lily remained anchored as the shadows loomed larger. What price, she wondered. As her heart thudded in her chest, she couldn't help but think of all the tales, the missing kids, the parents who spoke in hushed tones of the Scissor Man lurking in wait. Then he took a step forward, and the sound of metal on metal pierced her heart. "Come closer, Lily. Let me show you." A shiver ran down her spine. How did he know her name? Was it mere coincidence, or did his dark reputation extend beyond fear? The blades gleamed, and the memories of her friends' stories clawed at her mind like ravenous wolves. With each clink of the scissors, her vision blurred, filled with images of cautionary tales warning her against taking this reckless dare. "What do you want?" she whispered, her voice barely escaping the knot of panic. "Ah, my dear," he leaned closer, his breath a tangy blend of decay and secrets. "I want what you care for the most." Her heart raced. The hair he coveted? Or was it something deeper? Was she merely bait in a game she didn't understand? Resting her hands at her sides, she felt the grip of fate tightening around her, the weight of a decision pressing down. Just then, from the depths of the mill, a sound echoed a child's laugh, sweet yet hollow. The laughter twisted, and for a moment, the scissor man hesitated, distraction flickering in his eyes. Lily's heart seized. Was someone trapped within this nightmarish place? "Did you hear that?" she said, emboldened by fear's edge. "There's someone else here. You're not alone." The scissor man's expression darkened, his focus returning to her, the glint of the scissors sharper than before. "You don't know what you're asking," she squared her shoulders, adrenaline spurring her on. "I need to know the truth." The scissor man's grin vanished as shadows flared wildly, engulfing the narrow space. Just as Lily thought she had provoked him too far, the door creaked, echoing in the silence as if new energy was surging into the ancient mill. With an unexpected leap, he lunged toward her, scissors poised for the strike. Just as the air crackled with danger, the lights flickered and shattered, plunging them both into darkness. What awaited Lily in that now darkened space? Did she just unlock a deeper horror than anyone could imagine? The answers loomed, but they danced just out of reach. The darkness closed in like a thick fog, swallowing every sound. Lily's chest constricted, panic racing through her veins. She could feel the cold air pressing against her skin as she squinted, desperate to find even a sliver of visibility. Her heart hammered loud enough to drown out the distant echoes of that chilling laughter, now muffled and indistinct. Suddenly, a scratching sound pierced through the silence, like nails dragging across wood. It was close. Too close. She felt a rush of hot fear wash over her and willed herself to stay standing. "Is anyone there?" she called, her voice trembling. The only response was a shifting in the shadows, an almost imperceptible rustle that sent her pulse racing. Her mind raced. Who had laughed? What had come alive in the murkiness? The scissor man was there somewhere, lurking just beyond reach, waiting for the moment to strike. It was why she had come, wasn't he it? To brave him or learn his secrets? Suddenly, there was a flash, faint but illuminating. For a split second, she saw him. The sharp, glittering blades glistened anew, catching the light. The scissor man stood illuminated in that brief moment, eyes wide and hungry, a feral smile making his face a twisted mask of delight. Then darkness enveloped him again, and panic surged in Lily like a tsunami. She stumbled backwards, her foot catching on a loose board. The pain shot through her ankle as she hit the floor hard, desperation clawing at her throat. "Such a clumsy girl," he hissed, his voice a chilling rasp that echoed around the small space. "You will make this so much easier." Sucking in a sharp breath, Lily struggled to her feet, adrenaline kicking in. The mill had a past. She remembered snippets of stories, children disappearing without a trace, the haunting laughter, the echoes of joy suddenly stripped away. What if that laughter belonged to those who were lost? Determined, she edged forward, her fingertips brushing against the cold, wooden structure of the mill. The shadows seemed to lean toward her, whispering secrets carried by the night. Then she noticed the faint outlines of figures just beyond her reach. Were they human? Or part of the scissor man's grotesque collection? "Show yourself," Lily shouted, channeling every ounce of defiance she had. In an instant, the shadows surged, twisting like a vicious storm. A chorus of disembodied cries erupted, echoing through the mill. "Help us! Help us!" They were the voices of the missing, trapped by the scissor man's madness. Her heart twisted, unsure if she should flee or press on. The scissor man had trapped them here, feeding on their desperation. "You're nothing but a scared little girl," he cooed mockingly from the dark. "Why would you try to save them?" With a newfound sense of purpose, Lily shouted, "Because I care. I know you're a monster. You can't keep them here." At that, she felt the weight of something shifting, perhaps the air, or maybe it was the very essence of the mill trembling in response to her challenge. A sudden flash came again, illuminating the space. and she caught sight of the children's terrified faces hovering in the abyss beyond the scissor man, eyes wide, pupils dilated, silently begging for escape. "You dare challenge me?" His voice turned venomous, the blades clinking angrily as he stepped toward her. The space quaked, shadows flicking wildly, as if they were alive, ready to pounce. Lily forced herself to keep standing, but uncertainty crept in. What if she couldn't save them? What if the scissor man turned all that malevolent energy on her? As the room grew cold, and the air thickened with dread, a thought struck her. Was there another way? A secret she hadn't grasped yet? Just as dread wrapped around her heart, the lights flickered once more, revealing something beneath the shadows, a glint of something metallic in the dirt. What was it? A clue? A tool? Time's running out. "Dear girl," the scissor man taunted, his voice dripping with menace as he lunged again. As he moved, the world swirled into darkness once again, but the weight of uncertainty pressed on Lily, not just for herself, but for all those crying out in the shadows. What was hidden beneath the surface? Did she have the strength to face what lay ahead, or would she join the ranks of the lost? The chilling question lingered in the air, thick and heavy. Lily's breath caught as the scissor man lunged, his shadowy form gliding toward her with a predatory grace. She could feel the icy fingers of fear wrap around her heart, squeezing tightly. "Get a grip, Lily," she told herself, her voice barely a whisper against the cacophony of ghostly cries. She glanced down, desperate to see what lay beneath the dirt. It could be her only chance, an escape from this nightmare. Heart pounding, she dropped to her knees, fingers clawing at the ground, scraping aside the dirt and debris. Each grain felt like time slipping through her fingers, the scissor man's laughter ringing in her ears as he reveled in her discomfort. With a frantic shove, she unearthed a rusted metal handle attached to something large and curved. Her heart raced with the possibility of it being a tool meant to fight back, but the sight of it brought dread instead. This was no weapon of hope. It was a scythe, its blade dulled and chipped, foreboding as if it had reaped more than just crops in its time. A sudden cold breeze rushed through the mill, and the whispers grew louder. "Help us! Help us!" The voices clawed at her consciousness, urging her to act, desperate for release. Lily's fingers tightened around the handle as she stood again, heart hammering like a drum, the ghastly echoes surrounding her like a swarm. "Those who were lost," she muttered, thoughts racing. "They're still here trapped." She could see their faces flickering in and out of the shadows as if yearning for her to draw from this newfound strength. "Join them," the scissor man's voice slithered through the air, dripping with malice. "You could be family." "No," she shouted, defiance fueling her, echoing through the rotten beams of the mill. "I want to be part of your collection." The darkness shifted again, shadows swirling in a storm of anger. But she had courage now, illuminated by the knowledge that even in despair, hope shone through like a flickering candle. Gripping the scythe, Lily channeled every fragment of strength and resolve she could muster into the blade. "You think you can scare me?" she snapped, her voice surprisingly steady. "I know your secret." The scissor man's laughter echoed sharply, throwing shadows against the walls as he circled her. "Secrets? Oh, sweet girl, you know nothing." But she did. She recalled those stories she had heard the children. The joy turned horror, the cruelty masked beneath laughter. She knew now. The scissor man fed on fear, and if she could face hers, she could fracture the hold he had over this place, over those trapped souls. "Your power is based on lies," she screamed, holding the scythe high, its metallic surface trembling slightly. "You're nothing more than a coward in the dark." With a sudden rush, the air crackled with energy, a wave of sentient dread as the shadows lunged at her, attempting to snuff out her light. Lily swung the scythe downward. It missed him, but the blade sliced through darkness, sparking a ripple in the shadows, causing them to recoil. Shadows twisted and shrieked, the cries of children mixing with the fury of the scissor man. He bellowed, his laughter turning into a frenzied roar as he realized the tide was shifting. The entrapment was breaking. Around her, the trapped souls began to glow faintly, their outlines solidifying with each moment of courage she displayed. They stepped forward, whispering, "Help us." Lily's strength surged through her veins, guiding her grip on the scythe. This was at the breaking point. The moment was upon her. What she didn't know was that her actions would unlock more than just a path to freedom. They would awaken something deep within the mill, something that had been waiting to be set free. And as the Scissor Man loomed closer, rage boiling in his eyes, a chilling question hung in the air. What other horrors lay just beyond that veil of darkness? The scythe pulsed in Lily's hands, a living thing of dread and determination. The Scissor Man, once an untouchable presence, faltered as he registered the glow of the souls around her. They were flickering lights in the darkness, a shimmering testament to hopes once buried beneath layers of sorrow. "Foolish girl," he sneered, recovering quickly. "You think you can save them? They are mine. All mine." His silhouette twisted, lunging toward her, the menace in his movements sharp as his blade. She steadied her grip, her heart pounding louder than ever. "No," she shouted with newfound strength, swinging the scythe again. This time, the air around her rippled as if the world itself recognized her intent. The blade sliced through despair, and for a brief moment, she glimpsed the faces of the trapped souls, longing for release. Each swing stirred the air, releasing echoes of laughter and cries that wove in tales of their lives. Memories of sunshine and joy twisted into agony, each whisper fueling her resolve. A voice broke through, clear and piercing. "We can fight him together." It belonged to a girl no older than 12, her eyes shimmering with tears and strength. Lily nodded, focused on the hope that her light could spread. The moment felt alive, electric with potential. But the Scissor Man wasn't about to let go of his grasp so easily. His shrieks filled the mill as he conjured a wall of shadow, a living, breathing darkness that squirmed like 1,000 snakes. "You'll wish you never stirred the lost," he spat, his voice echoing with the fury of every child he'd ever captured. In an instant, shadows surged forward, wrapping around Lily's legs, dragging her down. Panic clawed at her throat as she struggled against the weight of despair pressing down. "You can't let him win," the girl's voice called, urging her to rise. Lily gritted her teeth, fighting the heaviness. "I can't give up. I won T." She thrust the scythe into the shadows, feeling the vibrations rattle through her. The blade sank into the darkness, sending shockwaves rippling through the air. Then came the most chilling revelation. The girl, the souls, they weren't just trapped in eternal torment. They had power. As Lily focused on the memories of the lost, the very essence of their laughter, courage surged through her veins. She tapped into that strength, drawing it closer, making it her own. The shadows recoiled, voices rising in a crescendo of defiance. "We are not your victims," they cried together, a chorus of rebellion as their light intensified, slicing through the very heart of the darkness. Lily swung again with palpable fearlessness, feeling the thrum of the scythe harmonize with the spirits around her. "You think you know fear?" she challenged the Scissor Man. "I know hope." With one final swing, she aimed for the core of the gathering shadows. The Scissor Man's laughter twisted, a sound now laced with uncertainty. "You cannot." The blow connected with a resounding crack, spilling light into the gloom. For half a heartbeat, the mill illuminated as if dawn had shattered the night. The faces of the lost beamed at her, and she realized this was only the beginning. But just as victory seemed within reach, a new pulse of darkness surged from below, pulling at her feet. It was deeper, more sinister, mixing with the shadows that still clung to the mill. She gasped as a deeper horror emerged, something that had lain in wait, awakened by the Scissor Man's fear. A guttural growl erupted, the shadows twisting off to reveal a figure cloaked in darkness, even deeper than what came before. What she saw made her breath hitch, and she realized the Scissor Man's hold was nothing compared to what was now unleashed. The chilling question surged to the forefront of her mind. What other nightmares had been sleeping in the darkness, waiting for the right moment to emerge? Lily's heart raced. The darkness before her wavered, swirling as a shape began to take form, long and twisted, emerging from the shadows like a nightmare come to life. The air turned thick with dread, choking her resolve. This entity was no accident of the Scissor Man's failures. It was a deliberate manifestation of something much older, something that hungered for despair. The figure's eyes glowed luminescent, twin orbs of malice that bore into her soul. It was more than just an absence of light. It was the very essence of all the tormented souls starving for freedom. A flick of its elongated fingers sent ripples of icy fear through the room. Indistinguishable whispers echoed from its depths, a chilling cacophony of lost hopes, and dreams an orchestra of anguish. Lily felt that cold dread seep through her skin, but she couldn't falter now. If the souls were rallying behind her, she had to believe it wasn't just an illusion formed from fear. They were real, their essence vibrant, and their strength was intertwined with her own. "I won't let you have them," she shouted, voice cracking but firm. Channeling the last of her fear into resolve, the Scissor Man snarled, trying to capitalize on Lily's hesitation. "You think strength can best us? You know nothing of despair." She gripped the scythe tighter, a surge of warmth flooding her chest at the thought of the young girl beside her. Those flickering lights had changed everything. They were not going to be pawns any longer. "You don't understand hope," Lily shouted back, her voice echoing with every drop of power she had left. The monster lunged, the shadows shifting to cloak its approach. Lily swung the scythe once more, thrusting it toward the advancing nightmare. It struck true, splitting the darkness in a blaze of light and sound. For a moment, she felt a connection to all those lost yet fighting alongside her. Her pulse roared with their fear and their lives, melding into something beautiful, fierce, unstoppable. But the creature didn't stagger. It dissolved into shadows, reforming behind her, its laughter chilling her to her core. "You think they can save you? You think anything can stop me?" A cold wave washed over her as she swung again, but her movements felt sluggish. The scythe reverberated with energy, yet she could sense herself weakening. She was tapping into something far too powerful. It was only a matter of time before she would lose this fight. Through the chaos, the girl's voice rang clear again. "Remember us, Lily. Fight with our love." The words ignited something in her. With renewed vigor, she clutched the scythe and faced the encroaching darkness once more. But the malevolent figure surged forward, the specter of nightmares coiling around her like a serpent. Suddenly, there was a flash of light that blazed from the scythe, breaking the darkness and illuminating the mill. The soul's fires ignited more fiercely than before. Their ancient cries echoed with an empowering strength. Pushing against the colossal weight of despair, Lily gasped as visions overcame her, images of children playing, of birth, laughter, and joy. Memories of family and warmth rushed in, each encapsulating a life filled with aspirations. "This is who you're up against," she screamed, channeling every shred of hope, driving it into the scythe. But even as hopes flickered and danced, the shadows gathered themselves once more, revealing their true nature. In the heart of this darkness, the creature regrew larger and more grotesque, embodying all the fears she had ever faced combined. It loomed before her with a chilling clarity, taunting her with its exultation. "Do you really think your light can pierce through all this darkness?" The question hung heavily in the air. Lily clenched her jaw, a new determination blooming within the pit of her stomach. But beneath the surface, doubt began to burrow in, gnawing as the very foundations of her courage felt shaky beneath this weight. Still, she had no choice. The fate of the lost souls and her spirit depended on it. As she prepared for one last stand, the shadows swallowed the mill in a suffocating embrace. Emotions swirled in a climax of fear and hope. How could she possibly win against a force so deeply entwined with her own darkness? But what would she discover when she confronted the truth behind the Scissor Man's power? The shadows thickened around Lily, wrapping her tighter than ever as the creature's laughter echoed like a dreadful wind. It was a twisted symphony, a sound that dripped with disdain, sharpening her fears into something tangible. She could feel every heartbeat, every breath from the lost souls around her, pressing against her in an overwhelming wave of emotion. "Look at you." The creature smirked, its eyes narrowing into cruel slits. "You're a fragile thing, clinging to hope as if it can shield you from the inevitable." Snap! The scythe slipped from her grip, clattering to the ground. Panic surged through her heart like ice water. She lunged for it, hands trembling. The mill spun in an oppressive darkness, blurring her vision. She couldn't afford to lose this fight. But where was her fight? Where was the spark that had ignited her soul? A suffocating doubt gnawed at her. What if she was wrong? What if hope was only a mirage, an illusion she desperately clung to while the darkness grew stronger? "Remember me, Lily, the girl said again, her voice weaving through the shadows, a thread of light. You weren't alone then, and you're not alone now. In that instant, clarity washed over her. She recalled all the faces she'd seen flickering to life, trapped between realms, shouting for deliverance. They were more than just memories. They were echoes of love, bravery, and resilience. They needed her just as much as she needed them. With a renewed resolve, she could almost feel their warmth igniting something deep inside her, a fire she thought had been snuffed out. Lily lowered herself until she was eye to eye with the scythe, utilizing every ounce of will she had. Her fingers grasped the cool, steady handle firmly. In that moment, conviction surged through her like a lightning bolt. You want me to fear you? She bellowed, her voice steady and unwavering. Then you underestimate the power of my love. With a feral cry, she stood. The flickers of light surrounding her surged forward, soaring like a starburst as she swung the scythe, not just as a weapon, but as a conduit for all that was good. The swirling darkness met its match with a crackling energy, a brilliant eruption that cast the shadows aside. But the entity didn't retreat. Instead, it absorbed her light, dark tendrils breaking like iron chains. You are nothing. You're merely pawns in their game of fantasy. It shrieked, wrenching back and growing even larger. Its voice twisted and warped, casting doubts on her heart, throwing memories back at her the day she lost her mother, the time a teacher ridiculed her art, the nights spent alone, aching. These are the moments that define you, not the shrill cries of lost souls. Sweat dripped from Lily's brow. Each word burrowed deep, sowing seeds of hesitation. She took a deep, shaky breath and summoned every flicker of hope within her. I am more than my scars, she yelled, charging against the creature, the scythe glowing with vibrant light. And then, it happened. The grounded shadows trembled as the scythe made contact. The darkness erupted in a shockwave of light, reverberating through the mill like an earthquake. The walls shook, the echoes of the captured souls sang, and for a fleeting moment, the creature paused. Had she pierced its heart? No. It thundered, its form flickering, the taint of anger evident, but was that terror glimmering in its eyes? Lily felt the tide shift. The light pierced deeper, tearing at the fabric of despair, unraveling the ties that bound the souls to darkness. But with the last remnants of shadow flickering behind it, the creature unleashed a guttural roar, a sound that shattered her focus. You will regret this day. I am eternal. You are merely a flicker. Then the floor beneath her prompted a rumble. Splintering wood and howls surrounded her like a maelstrom, threatening to drag her into the abyss of despair. She had to hold on. She had to stay. But as she grasped the glowing scythe, the darkness bled into new forms, shapes and visages taking form in the chaos. Could she really confront everything she had pushed away? All these years, with a final push, Lily steeled her spirit. Would the cost of this fight be worth it? What truths would she uncover when grappling with her deepest fears? As the ground shook beneath her, one thought loomed larger than the rest. What was the true nature of the Scissor Man's curse? The ground trembled beneath Lily, each tremor sending jolts of adrenaline coursing through her veins. She clutched the scythe tightly, feeling the solid weight ground her in the chaos. With every flicker of darkness, faces emerged anguished, desperate, some pleading, others accusing. The swirling shadows groped for her, whispering dark secrets, and she could hardly distinguish what had once been real from the torment of her past. Face them, Lily. The girl's voice was a piercing reminder, breaking through the howls of despair. You know their names. They're counting on you. There, at the edge of her memory, she saw her mother's radiant smile, her lost friend's laughter mingling with the whispers. Each one had a story, each one deserving of fight. The love they shared propelled her forward, igniting a fierce determination that pushed aside the weight of doubt. We do this together, she shouted, the word flowing like a battle cry. With renewed strength, she swung the scythe again, the blade cutting through the oppressive as it ripped through the air. Something shifted. The darkness splintered, splattering against the walls like ink on paper, drawing out remnants of torment. The fleeting moment of euphoria came crashing down as the creature shrieked, a sound that reverberated through her very bones. You think you can save them? They will forever belong to me. The beast, a grotesque mass of shadow, lunged forward, its claws swiping at her. Lily ducked, barely avoiding its lethal strike. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in. Her heart raced as she remembered her father's words, a mantra he'd shared in moments of anxiety. Courage isn't the absence of fear, Lily, it's moving forward despite it. She inhaled deeply, steeling herself. You're wrong, she screamed, swinging the scythe again, channeling all the pain, all the love she had ever felt into that swing. A blinding light burst forth, illuminating the room, driving back the shadows and revealing the true horror lurking within. In that intense glow, she noticed haunting figures surrounding the creature, dragging chains of despair, eyes wide with suffering. The souls were still trapped, hunched under the weight of agony. What do you see? The creature hissed, a thread of uncertainty lacing its voice. Your power is an illusion, Lily shouted back, a ripple of confidence settling in her chest. These people are not your pawns, they are their own. I will tear this realm apart. It roared, shaking the very foundations of her heart. No, you won't, she cried. With one last effort, she thrust the scythe forward, channeling all the bright souls, the memories, the fragments of joy that had once outweighed the darkness. The weapon sparked alive, illuminating the entire mill like a supernova, blasting shards of light that pierced through the creature's form that it screamed, a sound of pure, unfiltered rage and terror. The shadows writhed as the light ripped through their core, unraveling their very essence. The creature's laughter died, replaced by a deafening silence that throbbed in her ears. But as the light enveloped her, the world twisted around her, morphing as tendrils of darkness snatched at her ankles, pulling her down. Was this victory? Or was it a deception, one last ploy from the creature? Lily, the girl cried, her voice a distant echo. You must choose. She felt herself slipping, caught between victory and despair. What choice? What was left to lose? The shadows surged back, clawing, slashing, hungry for her essence. Out of the tempest, an image formed, a luminescent door slowly fading, the cries of trapped souls growing fainter. Lily, the girl's voice echoed again, laden with urgency. If you don't act now, they're lost forever. Fear gripped her, but so did resolve. Clenching her teeth, she called forth every memory, every intention to break free. But in that moment of strength, a cruel thought danced in her mind. Was she truly capable of saving them all? Or was the real cost far greater than she imagined? The ground shattered completely beneath her, and the shadows laughed. What would happen when she stepped through the veil? Would she stand victorious, or lose herself, swallowed by the darkness she fought so hard against? The darkness swallowed Lily whole, a terrifying abyss that threatened to consume her very being. It coiled around her, cold and suffocating, dragging her deeper into its grasp. She felt her breath quicken, heart pounding like a war drum. The sharp, metallic scent of fear filled her nostrils, tightening her throat. Suddenly, the world shifted, and she was no longer in the mill. The shadows released her, dropping her into a vast, desolate landscape, an endless expanse of black sand stretching beneath a blood-red sky. Swirling clouds darkened the horizon, taunting her with the echoes of lost souls. Lily the girl's voice echoed hauntingly, stronger now, but distant, disembodied. It felt like a warning and a plea mixed into one dire message. You need to find the door. What door? Where are you? Lily screamed, panic clawing at her chest. Listen, the girl urged, and the winds flowed, swirling around Lily, taking shape. Shadows mingled, shifting like smoke. She could see faint outlines of anguished faces merging with the landscape. Each visage whispered her name, pulling her further into the void. Stop! Lily shouted. I want to let you take me. She gripped the scythe, its presence grounding her in this storm. She could almost feel her mother's gentle hand on her shoulder, urging her forward. The grip on the handle steadied her resolve. With a determined roar, she swung the scythe, the light bursting forth like a beacon. The black sand erupted as if responding to her will, swirling upward to form a path. The shadows shrieked, but she pressed on, focusing on the glowing door in her mind. A simple rectangle of light beckoned her in the distance, dancing just beyond her grasp. Lily, you're close. The girl's voice danced in the wind, but it was tinged with urgency. It's not just a door, it holds your truth, the key to their freedom. With every step closer, the memories assaulted her. Laughter, joy, moments lost in time, all intertwined with heartache. Each one lent strength, weaving together a tapestry of resolve. She pushed through, the scythe raised high, shimmering like a star against the encroaching dark. But the creature was there, looming, its grotesque shape blending into the shadows. Its claws extended, reaching for her with a sinister glee. You think you can run? They are mine. Your memories, your past, all fuel my power. No. Lily shot back, lifting the scythe, propelling herself forward. The light flashed again, ricocheting off the creature's twisted form. For an instant, she saw the trapped souls writhing as if caught in a terrible storm reaching for her, their haunted eyes silently begging for release. The scythe is a bridge, the girl's voice pierced through the chaos. But you must choose who you are willing to save. Who will you let go? Let go? The words stung like a thorn. Could she really decide? In anguish, she felt the weight of the scythe, a reminder of every life tied to hers. They relied on her. She was too afraid to let anyone down. Yet what if saving one meant losing another? What could she carry? Make your decision. The girl cried, and in that moment, the creature lunged, razor-sharp claws aimed directly for Lily. Time slowed as she drew in a breath. I choose to fight for them all, she shouted defiantly, feeling the truth of her bond with each soul. The door flickered just ahead, glowing with life. She could almost reach it, but the beast barreled forward. The clash of shadow against brilliance made her limbs tremble as she deflected the creature's strike, light pulsating like a heartbeat. Would she reach the door in time? Could she truly wield the scythe to save them all? The ground beneath her rippled, and she charged forward, heart racing, ready to face the ultimate sacrifice needed for freedom. What awaited her on the other side? And could she bear the sacrifices she must make to pull them from the clutches of darkness? The ground quaked beneath Lily as she surged forward, the scythe a shining beacon against the encroaching shadows. The creature loomed behind her, a savage amalgamation of terror, its claws outstretched, desperate to snatch away hope. But this time, she wouldn't falter. With every ounce of strength, she charged toward that glowing door, each step fueled by the whispers of those gathered. "Fight with us, Lily," came the echoing chorus, a sweet melody of encouragement entwining with the roar of the nightmare. The pulsing light beckoned like a lighthouse guiding a ship through the stormy sea. The creature roared, a sound like thunder rolling over hills, shaking her resolve. "You cannot outrun me. You will always be mine." Its sharp breath froze the air, biting, but she merely tightened her grip. This was her moment. With a fierce cry, she swung the scythe. The blinding light burst from the blade like a supernova, shattering the darkness surrounding her. The shadows recoiled as if they were made of smoke. The faces of the lost flickered in and out, emerging from the depths of despair, urging her onward. "We are with you." Fueled by their strength, she dove forward as the creature lunged, narrowly missing her. She twisted and turned, dodging its strikes, adrenaline drowning out the fear that threatened to rise again. Almost there. The door shimmered just ahead, and in that moment, clarity swept over her. Salvation lay within that portal, a promise of freedom for the trapped souls. But she remembered the girl's warning, clear as day. "Who will you let go?" As if sensing her hesitation, the creature grew more formidable. "You'll pay dearly for your defiance." It lunged, its claws grazing her shoulder. The pain shot through her like fire, and she stumbled. But in her internal storm, a realization washed over her. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning, it means freeing. She shouted defiantly, emboldened by the voices swirling around her. With renewed courage, she steadied herself, lifting the scythe high above her head once more. "I choose to fight for all of you," she bellowed, sending the energy of her resolve surging through the blade. She lunged toward the door, the scythe a guiding force. The glowing frame beckoned her. As it pulsed with life, shadows clawed at her heels, but she harnessed every ounce of light within her. Together, we are stronger. In one incredible thrust, she let the scythe fall into the light of the door, just as the creature lunged for her heart. Time itself seemed to stretch. The myriad of voices beat around her, a united force of the lost, urging her to take the leap into what lay ahead. A bright flash erupted as the blade connected, and the doors swung wide open. An intense warmth enveloped her, washing away the darkness, dragging every flicker of despair along with it. In an instant, she crossed the threshold, and the world exploded into light. Suddenly, Lily was no longer in the nightmarish realm. She stood in the heart of the mill, surrounded by warmth and laughter. The cries of agony had ceased, replaced by joyous cheers. Children, women, men dancing into one another's arms, faces aglow with freedom. The shadows clung to the walls, retreating into nothingness as the roots of fear receded. The creature's anguished wail echoed for a moment before it vanished, swallowed by the light. "Thank you, Lily," they shouted in chorus, joy beaming through them, bright and unyielding. Among them, she saw the girl whose voice had guided her. "Were you waiting for this moment?" Lily asked, breathless, her heart swelling with emotion. The girl smiled, her presence comforting and radiant. "We were always here. Now, we are free because of you." Lily's heart swelled with pride and bittersweet reflection. Each face she recognized reminded her of all they had suffered, but also of the love that would endure. "Promise me you'll remember us," the girl said, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "Always," Lily replied, her voice steady. As the ashes of their past scattered into the wind like feathers, she felt the weight of fulfillment. She had conquered the darkness not only for herself, but for so many others. The mill brightened one last time, before dissolving into warm light, and with it, the echoes of lost laughter reverberated in her chest, a promise of hope that would never fade. "Goodbye, brave one," they echoed as one, their voices weaving a tapestry of love that would forever cradle her heart. As she stepped forward, she knew this was only the beginning. She turned back, a final glance at the mill that had held so many fears, but it was now filled with light and laughter. And with every heartbeat, she carried the tales of bravery woven into the fabric of her own. And as she walked into the warmth of the new day, one thing was clear: no darkness could extinguish the light. Now, this is the moment for you to take action. Subscribe immediately to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and show your love for this journey. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about how Lily's story changed your perspective. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this amazing conclusion. True fans know the importance of supporting the channel, so let us grow together.